Hey there, it's EnderVerse. Today we are starting a new series. I decided to start remastering Minecraft's official updates with mods. Though at the start, I want to first get the most wanted update out of the way, an update that has never actually been touched for over 10 years. The End update. Now without any further ado, let's dive into the video. Mofu's Broken Constellation offers a neat lore expansion to the End dimension. The mod is centered around two bosses, the Endermite Queen and the Eye Guardian. Each one of them requires a considerable amount of work to summon, making the process itself an enjoyable adventure leading all the way to the battle, which is quite tough and fun, especially against the Eye Guardian. You will also be encountering 3 new biomes, populated with aggressive creatures and featuring specific color patterns and designs that distinguishes them. The structures here are also quite tough. Places like the End Labyrinth extends deeply in the ground and feature many hidden traps, while the End Clock Tower is crawling with monsters and is actually the structure housing the Eye Guardian we've talked about earlier. Defeating the bosses and farming the materials here will allow you to put on some good armors, each piece with its active and passive effect, though I have to suggest that the author keep all effects passive. Active ones eat up keybinds for no good reasons. While the author was generous with their End expansion features, the intention here was actually to travel to a completely new dimension called the Broken Constellations. From what I've seen, this place is still in the development. Not many things to try out here, but we added it for the end, so it's still very important to this video. Up next we have Enderscape, a mod that has been quite popular recently. This mod adds new biomes with a special atmosphere, a truckload of features and utilities, as well as new mobs that you can interact with. As I said, many utilities are tied to these biomes. Harvesting the materials here, you can craft new sets of armors with special abilities like increased speed and safe fall properties, along with a new dagger that deals hard damage if you backstab mobs, and a mirror that teleports you to lodestones, making transportation easier than ever. Aside from the new content, the author has also worked on enhancing the End series, strongholds, and gateways, either aesthetically or functionally, with end ships having vaults instead of plain chests. I love this mod. It is the closest we'll ever get to an accurate End update, but sit tight. Many more options are to be discovered, my friend. Creatures and Beasts, the unofficial update, allows you to have those creatures on later versions such as 1.20.1. This is perfect since we can now integrate it into our little bundle along with the other End dimensions we'll add later. This mod was added here mainly due to the End Whale mob. I just love to use it as a transportation method. It's fast enough and the flying mechanics are so smooth and coated with fluid animations. You can tame this creature simply through feeding it a chorus fruit and saddling her up. Something you can do literally right after you kill the Ender Dragon. Up next we have Enlightend, one of my favorite mods on the list. The author here has added a handful of new biomes with different side effects. There are harmless jump boosts or teleportation effects, along with lethal side effects such as freezing. These biomes also feature special weather events, something that is exclusive to the End dimension. My favorite part of the mod was the scientific twist, how you can craft flash bombs, laser beams, and even a nuclear bomb too. There's also a new ore called adamantite. It will help you create a new endgame equipment, as it is stronger than even the netherite equipment. There are also different types of armors with unique abilities such as jump boosts. There aren't many mobs here. However, there is a boss. The animations and attacks of this boss are more old school, but it's alright. Mobs don't play a central part in this mod. I love the Enlightend mod. It is sad that it ceased updating, but it made it 1.20.1. Lots of these mods work on the same version and the same looter too. So call in a friend who's also been waiting for an End update and enjoy a mod pack together. If you'd like to support the EnderVerse channel and also get a 30% discount for your first purchase, you can host on Pine Hosting and use my code ENDER on the checkout. The service here isn't short on modern CPUs, fast SSDs, and high frequency RAM. Simply put, you will never face any shutdowns or stutterings. US and Europe players can expect to get near zero ping, but anyone outside these regions, including myself, will still enjoy an excellent ping. Even with my Moroccan 20 MB per second internet, I get no less than 60 millisecond ping. The support team is great and is helpful not just with solving problems, but with other things such as migrating your server from other services. You can also join the Discord server and ask them anything even if you haven't yet rented a server. Using Pine Hosting, you not only get a 30% discount for your first order, but you also support me and allow me to remain a full-time modding YouTuber. Thank you in advance, and thanks to Pine Hosting for sponsoring this video. Let's go back to modding now. Unusual End is just another full-scale upgrade of the End. There are only 2 biomes here, but they expand far out with new mobs living here, some peaceful, others aggressive, as well as new items you can craft such as smart ender pearls, an item that traps mobs in bubbles, and a few more items to tinker with. Also, you can craft some tools that give you higher reach, along with this anchor weapon that stun and nauseate enemies, though sadly there are no armors, but then it's a blessing in disguise, as it will allow our other mods to fill in that gap. Unusual End also adds a new type of end ships. Unlike the usual ones, here your prize is a new type of totems, and funny enough, you get to try it out right away, as there are traps that throw you right into the void. This totem will then save you by teleporting you to the sky and giving you a slow falling effect. This is an awesome mod, and it's one that extends subtly and seamlessly upon the end dimension, exactly our pursuit in here. With this mod, the end castles explode in size, featuring more chambers, more bridges, more stairs, bigger middle section, redesigned end ships, and even an end portal inside. What's more is that all the way up you can fight new bosses based on vanilla mobs, including a huge shulker and a huge phantom as well. The author has made it so that you have to go through trial spawners before getting the elytra. There's also new enchantments you can get, my favorite being the gravity one applied to the crossbow. The author has retired this mod, but you can still get the castle through installing the main Dungeons and Taverns mod, though be advised some of the functional features won't be there and will only be exclusive to this mod instead. Enderman Overhaul adds many new variants of the Enderman. These new variants can be found on different biomes and altitudes. I added it here due to 2 new variants spawning on the end. Apart from their dazzling appearance, these mobs have special attacks and they drop new ender pearls too. My favorite ender pearl is the one dropped by the End Island Enderman, which will summon an Enderman pet to assist you during battle. Affecting the Enderman is affecting the entire dimension, so this mod was a natural option for this list. Eldritch End adds a unique horror twist to the End dimension, as there will be a corruption meter rising and distorting your playthroughs, as well as making you practically helpless against the mobs here. To protect yourself, the author has added a new set of armors called Meteorite, which will shield you from the corruption. There are only 2 mobs within the mod: the Dendler, which is a harmless creature that looks like the Enderman, and the Aberration, hostile creatures that can be found lurking in groups and will kill you instantly if you are not immune to the corruption. There are also 2 new bosses. The first is the Eye Boss, which is a huge flying eye monster. It can teleport away, shoots an ender beam at you, and has a dedicated method of defeating it. Then there is the Faceless, a boss representing the Cthulhu. Defeating either bosses can grant special items, especially the Faceless boss, as you will be able to use his attacks on the mobs, rendering them weak and fragile to your strikes. This mod is extremely configurable, which helps plenty as you can easily integrate it with the mods that have been mentioned and the ones that will be mentioned later on this video. This mod adds a new race of creatures to the End dimension, those being the Ender beetles. The process of collecting their eggs, hatching them, and then growing the beetles is quite engaging. The author has also added an Endermite queen. It can poop out an Endermite every now and then, making it a very effective Endermite farm. You can also craft the Beetle Club, a new weapon that deals a whopping 15 damage. This author has managed to expand the End fauna very intuitively, with the Ender beetles relating heavily to the Endermites, and thus expanding naturally upon the End. End's Phantasm is up next. This mod is quite similar to the Unusual End and the Enlightend mod. It adds new biomes to the End in the form of mystical forests and upside down terrains. In terms of the structures, the author only added 1, those being obsidian towers that you must climb up and loot. There are only 2 mobs here, Cressy and the Behemoth. Cressy is a harmless fairy that explodes upon death, and the Behemoth is a sleeping monster waiting for its next prey. Amongst all the other mods, the tools here are the most powerful. The higher your experience level, the more efficient the tool, basically allowing you to infinitely improve your tools and weapons. There are also some mechanics and items that I appreciate, things like having to kill the dragon before you can fly the elytra, the fact that the end portal doesn't lead you to the end island, instead you have to look around for the end gate that then will lead you to the arena, Items like a shattered pendant that will help you overcome death by the void, which can be enchanted with mending to last longer, fun new blocks for all sorts of redstone contraptions, and more. This is a decent mod that adds so much, but again not so much that it's impossible to integrate with the other end dimensions. Definitely our goal from this video. This next mod simply adds one structure, which is this moon-shaped villager outpost. Finding this outpost can be a pleasant surprise. Apart from the beautiful shape of the structure, trading some of the items you found can be a lifesaver when you are far out in the end. Falling into the void and losing everything, either to a broken elytra or a bad enderpearl shot, is a common occurrence on Minecraft. Forgiven Void solves that by making the void into a loop portal that teleports you back to the sky. This mod is optional, since you've already seen how other mods added things like pendants and totems that do just that. If you don't want to render those items obsolete, don't add this mod. Otherwise, it remains a prominent option on this list. This is a simple functionality mod, making it so that you can farm Endermites by feeding them amethyst shards. This is quite useful, as Endermites are the building blocks of any Enderman farm. Apart from that, Endermites with this mod have a chance of turning obsidian into crying obsidian. I like how this mod added a way to get more Endermites, but also counterbalanced it by making said insects more useful. Very clever functionality. Stellarity is a mod that changes many things about the end, yet remains server-sided. The first thing it does is that it changes the stronghold, fortifying it with many more rooms and enhancing the existing ones like the libraries and the main end portal chamber. The end island is also entirely different. The obsidian towers are now thicker, and an awakening mechanic has been added to summon the Ender Dragon. The fight itself has been revamped, as the dragon can now employ new attacks and also undergoes different phases before dying. Killing her will also grant you new loot besides the dragon egg, which is quite refreshing to see. There are so many biomes here, and again, they follow the same rule of thumb, being entirely constructed through vanilla blocks. But the building is so beautiful, you'd hardly notice that the first time seeing it. Finally, the mod adds new structures, amongst which there are villagers themed around the end, as well as overhauled vanilla end series and end ships, again employing vaults as means of concealing the elytra. I love this mod, but I would not recommend you mix it with the other projects on the list. Structures get mangled up, and other modded biomes get swallowed up by this mod. I'd only use it as a standalone server-side option. Up next we have an OG mod named Enlightend. The biomes here were magnificent, especially the crystal crag biomes. Their compatibility with shaders is also seamless. These biomes can also be of great use. The crystals here can be used to craft an end crystal. In addition, they can be smithed with diamond armors to produce new sets of armors. I'm assuming the idea of the mod is to make the end into a separate planet, and this is especially evident when we look at structures such as the end towers. The mod's name is also awfully close to the Outer Wilds, a game about space exploration, but this could just be a coincidence. There are only 2 biomes here, so it's quite integrable. I'd only recommend for the author to overhaul mob animations. Apart from that, it's perfect. Up next we have Ender Dragon Reborn. This texture pack changes the outlook of the dragon, giving her a more modern outlook instead of the look she had for 14 years now. Aesthetics aside, we also have the True Ending mod. This is a project that empowers this dragon. She can now employ different new attacks like nosediving, shooting a circular dragon breath attack, along with sending down different copies of herself as missiles. Both projects work well together, and it's a nice way of improving the Ender Dragon without entirely replacing her. RX's mobs, although extremely popular, is an indispensable option when it comes to enhancing the end dimension. The mod adds plenty of end-based creatures. Some you can tame and ride like the Endergetic, others like the Mimicube can copy your gear and weapons and use it against you, and the NeoForge are mobs that can infect you with a terminal disease, and a few more creatures you can find roaming around this dimension. These mobs are also quite useful. By killing the Mimicube, you can obtain the Mimicream, an item that can duplicate anything, and the remains of the NeoForge can be crafted into a new type of rocket, lest you run out of them. There's even a boss called the Void Worm. It teleports around the void and drops useful things upon death. Legendary Monsters is a mod adding one boss to the end as well as a mini boss too. However, the author dropped a beta test available for Patreons that introduces a third boss. Although there are only 2 bosses and a mini boss, well, just one boss if we exclude the beta test, the experience was still very much enjoyable. The animations and models of these bosses were beautiful. They will employ plenty of attacks that can cripple or destroy you, and to be fair, this new boss really tops them all. In terms of attacking patterns, he has the biggest amount. He also undergoes 2 phases, becoming stronger and employing even more attacks. Killing all of these bosses will reward you with new tools, weapons and armors to use. As for the new boss, however, you must fight his servants and explore this massive space station before you even reach him, making for a long-lived experience. Approaching the end, we have a mod aptly called Better End. In terms of the biomes, this mod beats everything we had so far, aesthetically and functionally as well. This place is stellar, especially when you use shaders such as reaching king voxels. There are also new creatures that roam around these biomes. The mod continues to expand as you can craft new gears, plenty of decorative blocks, and set up rituals for various goals such as the empowerment of certain tools. I didn't start with this mod simply because it was too popular, but that's not the only reason. The biomes here have lots of vegetation and complex blocks that the average Joe with a low-end PC may struggle with performance. Ender's Delight is an add-on for the Farmer's Delight mod. This project will allow you to harvest the organic materials from the end, be it mob organs or chorus plants, to cook many different meals. Some of these meals can have special side effects like levitation, while others are simply satiating to consume. This mod is also popular, but its features are so important to any end update collection, so we are including it here nonetheless. Ender Remastered mod makes it so that all 12 Eyes of Ender you apply on the portal must be of different variants. 7 new variants can be found around the world, mainly on loot chests inside dungeons. Collecting these Eyes of Ender can be an enjoyable adventure, and I recommend you add plenty of dungeon mods to ease the process of scouting for them. And finally, we have the Endergetic expansion. This mod only adds 1 biome to the end, that being the Poise Forest. This place is quite mystical. It's filled with beautiful atmospheric particles, and you can also see insects flying around and planting their nests atop the trees. Insects aside, there is also a frog mob called the Buffalo. It's aggressive at first and will send you flying if you get too close, but if you approach it quietly and feed it its favorite food, you will be able to tame it and bounce your way around the end dimension. The mod offers a few more things, including new block types, along with a vest you can wear which gives you the Buffalo's bouncing ability. So this mod is an adventure you can't afford to ignore. Thanks for watching. I wanted to make a mod pack, but there weren't enough mods. Think of this video as a mods bundle to choose from and add to your own mod pack, my friend. Also, all the versions and mod loaders are listed as usual, so it shouldn't be a problem. Like and subscribe if you are enjoying my videos, and be sure to use Pine Hosting for your next server if you want to support me, and also get a 30% discount for your first order. Now see ya in the next one, my friend.